Hey, first graders, do you remember talking about related facts? Remember how I told you the story about my brother and his wife and how, we have Jackson and we have Emily, and when they're together, they're the Turners. And when Jackson has to go to school, then Emily is left on her own. And if they're both at their home and then Emily has to go to work, then Jackson's left on his own. But together, it doesn't matter if you say Jackson and Emily or Emily and Jackson. Together, they're the Turners. Okay, and we talked about that because we found out that math facts work in a very similar way. Let's do a quick review of what that was. Okay, now remember we had a family home, and maybe this was the 7 family, and we had 3 and 4, and together they were 7. Okay, just like Jackson and Emily together are the Turners. So we know that if we have 3 plus 4, they make the 7. But we can add in any order, so 4 plus 3 also equals 7. But when we have the 7, just like if Jackson and Emily are both home and they are the Turners, sometimes one of the pieces has to go away. So just like Jackson sometimes has to go to school, sometimes 3 has to go away. And that leaves us with 4. But when they're together, they're back to being 7. And maybe sometimes Emily goes to work. So we'll have 4 be Emily going to work. And we take it away. But we're still left with 3. That's right. Okay. So you'll notice I have 2 addition problems and I have 2 subtraction problems. But I only used these 3 numbers. Okay, I didn't get any other numbers. When we're talking about related facts, they are all going to use the same numbers. They have the same whole. In this case, the whole is 7. When the parts are together, they're 7. And they have the same parts, 3s and 4s. Okay. We just put them in different orders to come up with the different addition sentences. Well, this is still true when we're working with greater numbers. And so, because we know, well, let's rewind just a little bit, okay? So, because I know 3 plus 4 equals 7, I know if I'm starting with the 7 and I take away 3, I have to be left with 4, right? Because we have the same whole and we had the part that was the same. And so the missing part also has to match, okay? And then like I was just saying, this works the same with the greater numbers. Let's start with just some tens. If I have 20 plus 30, what's my sum? 50, right, because 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, well, if I start with that 50 and I'm going to take away 20, what would have to be left? 30, that's right. I have the same whole, and we took away one part, so we're going to be left with the other part, okay? It works with numbers that aren't just tens and aren't just ones as well. For example, if I have 23 plus 42, I can say 2 tens and 4 tens makes 6 tens, 3 ones and 2 ones makes 5 ones, 65. 23 plus 42 equals 65. So if I then see 65 minus 23, I see the wholes are the same. I see the parts are the same, which means my missing part also has to be the same. That's right. Okay, so it would have to be 42. Okay, I'm going to write down a problem and see if you can tell me what the answer is. Ooh, I made it a little bit trickier because 7 and 4, 7 ones and 4 ones is going to make another group of 10. Okay, so I have 4 10s, but then I'm going to make another group of 10. So I'm actually going to have 5 10s and 1 left over. Okay, so if you didn't find that 51 that quickly, that's fine. That's fine. We're just practicing. Okay, but I bet you can find this answer really quick. Look, think, speak. 17. How'd you do? Did you find that quickly? We can see that the whole is the same, and we can see we have the same part, which means the other part also has to match. Okay. Okay, so today you are going to practice using different strategies that we've been working on to add these greater numbers. And then you're going to, after finding those answers, you're going to use the information from that addition problem to solve a subtraction problem, looking to see that they are related facts. And so if the whole is the same, then the parts have to be the same. If the parts are the same, then the whole has to be the same. So use these related facts and these tools that we've been practicing since much earlier this year to find the solutions to your problems today. Are you ready? Good.